Hey there, Capricorn. So let's have a look at your week ahead. This is starting from the 13th to the 19th of October. And this is your ascendant forecast. I'm using a whole sign tropical Western model. And hopefully it will help to unpack and unravel the planetary picture right now in a way that's going to be helpful to you. Now, we've got a lot of things I think that are beneficial and a couple of things that could it could bring up some stuff from our unconscious mind to be acknowledged. But I do see this as being a week where we can move on. And of course, from that perspective, I think you'll find this useful. So the first thing is today we've got Venus going into the sign of Libra. This is one of her signs that she rules. So she's very happy in the sign of Libra. This is a time for us to come back into our softness, our gentleness. It's really yummy. Pluto's also going direct, which I think is going to kind of put a rocket under our backside and help us really take control. We've also got Mars going really strong in the sign of Scorpio. He's doing great there, and Mercury's coming into a conjunction with him. It's not exact this week, but next on the 20th, just before the new moon, Mercury and Mars are going to be exact. It's going to be a very, very potent point indeed. Now, we've also got two oppositions. Now, they're the ones that I think are going to give us a bit of a run for the money. So we've got Venus in an opposition to Neptune and Chiron and the Sun in an opposition. Now, they're going across the same polarities. So the Sun and Venus are in the same house, and Neptune and Chiron are in the same house. And so both of these oppositions are working in your theme in a similar way. So there's a lot to unpack, a lot to do with victimhood, herohood or heroics, a lot to do with whether you want to be saved or be the savior. And I always think with Venus and Neptune, there is a longing, a sort of longing for something deep, like the more we ache for love, the more we fear to be seen. And so, this is a real big yummy one to examine. So what I'm going to do is just bring up the charts in a sec. But just before I do, I want to say thank you to everybody that supports this channel so far, whether you're a historical supporter or a modern day one. I just really appreciate you so much, especially the people also who've joined my membership on the school platform. That's skool.com. I think we have quite a bit of fun there with our hangouts and stuff. And there's a lot of support there, that we can really share in. So thank you so much. You've really sort of changed my world, actually. Anyway, let's have a look at these charts. In fact, before we do, I'm going to bring up my big question of the week. And that is, if I drop the story of being the victim or the hero, what healing truth might emerge? I mean, that's a big one, isn't it? Because I don't think many people like to think of themselves as a victim. And I think a lot of us like to think of ourselves as a hero. And the chances are you've been both the victim and the hero. I know I have. And they are sometimes the same character, like if you're the scapegoat or black sheep of a family dynamic, you might also be the hero because you're kind of saving them by you taking all the crap. You might be saving everyone else from facing theirs. This can work in a really twisted kind of way, in fact, but the story is the thing that I think we should really have a look at, because the stories that are going on right now are the things that are holding you in place and not allowing you necessarily to move beyond where you are. So, for instance, if you're the hero all the time and you're doing the saving all the time, then the people around you are going to stop interacting with you. All they're going to give you is problems to solve, things for you to save them from. And if you're the victim, feeling like you need to be saved, you might find that people are a little bit cold towards you because they think that you're probably going to pull them into a drama. We all sit in these roles from time to time, sometimes more than, I had many years like where I was playing some massive dramas out, and you may have complete, like really strong feelings of justification. And it's not about whether you are right or wrong to be a victim or a hero or identify with it, but the sum total of it, like where is it taking you and how is that story helping you in your life right now? I think with these oppositions, we would be more free and have more possibilities to have completely dropped them, because the reactions from the people in our life are going to be cleaner and clearer of old karmic debts and things like that. So let's see what's coming up as I look at this in your chart. So if when you look at your first house, which is this wedge here, if you see that you've got Capricorn and Aquarius, then the chances are you look at your chart with Placidus or something similar. What that means is you might also find Aquarius helpful as well. I use Placidus, so I've got Scorpio and Sagittarius in my first house. And if you're a whole sign fan, then just keep listening anyway. So this Venus and Neptune opposition is through your 10th and 4th house, and you've also got the Sun and Chiron. You know, the Sun's in the 10th house and Chiron's in the 4th. So this is whatever's going on with these oppositions this week, and the stories that you're playing, it's going to be played out across your home life versus your career, or your private life versus your outside and higher life. You know, this is private, this is public. This is home and family. This is where you're out in the world supporting yourself. This is where you're supported. This is where you're like, you don't need support, and where you might be supporting others. So this is a very, like, the 1st, the 4th, the 7th and the 10th houses are the 4 most important ones as far as I can see. And so this polarity is very, very strong. There's a lot to shift here as I can see it. Now, with Neptune coming into this base part of your chart, or currently residing there, it's bringing up a lot of idealism about what family means or what home means, and probably that sense of needing to belong somewhere. Neptune also creates this sometimes unstable, this kind of confusion. You know, like, I thought I knew where home was, and now I'm not sure. Why is it really difficult to feel like I belong? Why is it difficult to feel where I know my home is? And I think that's a big question that people might be asking with Neptune down here. With Chiron here in the 4th house as well, you might have this story playing out that, why is it that I feel lonely at home? Why is it when I'm in a family that I feel rejected? You know, Chiron often shows us our woundedness. So rejection is one of those woundedness things that plays out again and again at home. And again, if you're feeling rejected, you might ask yourself, well, where do I belong? You know, if the people inside my home or inside my family I'm feeling rejected by, where is my home? Where do I belong? It's a really huge thing to deal with. Now, at the top here, Venus in the 10th house, you feel like you belong out in the public. You feel like you belong. Everyone that you're meeting through your work sphere is like, hey, hey, come here. Oh, wow, I love you. They can't get enough of you. You know, so with Venus up here, you're a bit of a hero. You're a bit of a superstar, and everyone wants a piece of you right now. And with the Sun up here, you're really being asked to shine what it is that you shine in the world. It's almost like people outside of your family understand you, and then the people that you would love to be understood by really don't get you. And so there is a pain with that. You know, why is it perfect strangers can see the goodness in me, and yet the people at home fail to? So a lot of deep questions. And so if you're feeling a bit of a victim here, or a hero here, like you're taking it for the team so that your family can survive with their twisted stories of you, which is obviously the scapegoater's handbook. You know, I've just described it in one go. You know, this is a big one. And of course, if you're holding that about yourself, you're holding others into this pattern of, please reject me. please reject me more, because that's what I'm expecting. So, you know, I wonder how you'd be able to shift that, because to me, these are stories that are really big. In fact, this Chiron here is currently in a square to Jupiter. It's also in a square to Pluto. And at the end of this week, you'll see that the full grand square is kind of stellated as the Sun comes into this 4th corner. And so this feeling of the betrayal or the scapegoating or the rejection at home is really real. And you might not be feeling it on an everyday basis, but if you've got it as a story, this is a week where you can identify it, you can almost grab it by the short and curlies and say, hey, you can't exist here anymore. I'm not going to let that story persist. It's time you go. Because often these stories, you know, they can kind of live underground, you know, almost like the worms in the soil. I love worms, by the way. I must get a wormery, actually. I haven't had one of those for a couple of years now. I miss worms. But anyway, the worms, you know, they're always in the ground, like these unconscious thoughts about ourselves in our mind, always playing out, but you just can't see them. And so, you know, this is the week where you might be able to grab one of them and say, I can see you now, and I'm going to take you out and move you over there. Maybe worms isn't right. Maybe it's like parasites that you're wanting to get rid of. So to me, this is an energy thought form that you really don't need to have. If you know, what possibilities would happen if you could let go of that altogether? Because people love you right now. And in fact, the next new moon, which I think is on the 21st, it's in next week's forecast, it's going to be in your 10th house, and Venus is going to be there. I mean, this is a great time to be you in the public domain. Everybody loves you. So could you imagine how much everyone would love you more if you were to just let go of that deep held belief of, you know, I get rejected at home, which you may well have translated into I'm rejectable, which then gets translated as please reject me because that's what I'm expecting. And actually, I feel safer when people reject me because I know it's coming. I wonder what life would be like if you didn't have that belief. That, like, what freedom would come from that, from not expecting to be rejected at some point. So this is a really big shift, I think, that's coming up. And of course, with the sun in opposition to Chiron as well, your identity that you're holding about your career might also be holding you in chains. So, you know, I don't know what story you've got playing out in terms of your career right now. I mean, Saturn, your ruler, is in the 3rd house. And so it could have something to do with the community. But whatever role you're playing right now that you've been playing too much and you recognize it's a role, it might be time to shift from it and to say, okay, well, that's just one version of me, but I'm not a one-trick pony. I've actually got loads of tricks up my sleeve. I've got loads of personas, and actually I'm quite fluid. So yeah, consider that, because if you get pigeonholed and pegged a certain way, that could be quite painful too. Now, all of that pain aside, I really love Mars in a trine to the North Node and Mercury in a trine to the North Node, because they are up here in your 11th house, creating lots of opportunities to meet very powerful people and lots of great friends, people that can advocate and support you in a way that you haven't experienced in a really long time. They're connecting with Jupiter beautifully in the 7th house, which can give you some real hope about your relationships, which I think is much needed. And then they're connecting with the North Node, Saturn and Neptune, and so is Jupiter. To me, this is transforming your desirability levels at a community level. It feels like people can see you for who you are now. So again, you know, the title of this, the more we ache for love, the more we fear being seen. You're coming into a time where you could be seen and understood in such a beautiful, magical way that you almost are gasping because you're like, oh, ooh, I can't get over myself. You know, so you might be really sort of like feigning, well, no, like really feeling humble and sort of dazzled in this moment of humility. You might not know what to do. I mean, this is really helpful. I think people are going to really start seeing you. But again, you have to see yourself fully. And to be able to do that, I think you have to drop those stories that you've been holding. And this will absolutely put you on course. You know, these are connecting to the North Node in the sign of Pisces in a beautiful way. This is really helping you. And then the final thing of all, you know, Venus in this lovely grand trine with Pluto and Uranus, you know, you want to be seen without feeling afraid of being seen, or you know, not being afraid of being misinterpreted. This is going to really speed things up. It's giving you permission to really be your freaky self. So I like it. So going back to that original question, if I drop the story of being a victim or hero, what healing truth might emerge? What becomes possible that wasn't possible before when I stop trying to save or be saved? To me, it's you're owning your career, and everybody is seeing you as you are. Everybody can see you as you think yourself to be. To me, this is breaking the illusion that you've been helping people hold on to. And this is creating a sense of you being free to be yourself in whatever way you want. So if that spoke to you and you're thinking, hang on, I want more, I need more, then you might find my membership. I've got 2 of them, but the entry level one, I've got Monday to Friday forecasts, where I dive in even deeper to the themes I've spoken about today. And it's a lot more sort of up close and personal, a lot less formal, if that can be possible. I've also got weekly love forecasts, relationship and connections ones, and also career, money and ambition forecasts every week for all 12 signs of the zodiac. So there's a lot of extra content there if you like the stuff that I'm putting out there. Or if you would like me to deep dive into your own chart, then just check out my links below or on my channel page on YouTube, and you can just book directly into my diary, and we can take it from there, and I can have a good old gander at what's going on for you. So anyway, thanks for joining me here today. I hope it's been helpful. Wishing you a great week ahead, and hopefully catch up with you real soon. Bye for now.